Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well and that you're all staying healthy. And I'm going to talk to you right now about my data structure for my compendium, Rose Trees. So, the full name of the structure is the Bayesian Rose Tree from Bayes' theorem of probability. And this is a theorem in probability that predicts probability using already known factors. And the tree is named after the common rhododendron, which is a bush. I have a couple in my backyard, and they're very large. They contain a variable amount of sub-branches per branch, which means each branch could have a potentially large amount of branches coming off of it, and each branch is pretty much different, causing these trees to get very large, like the data structure. So, talking about probability kind of shows that this tree can get a little out of hand. So properties of rose tree will vary abstract. They do have some solid definitions. They may contain a potentially unlimited number of edges for every node. Each parent could have a potentially unlimited amount of children. There is no minimum or maximum amount for each node. They're incredibly variable, making balancing potentially impossible. One side of your tree, you might have a million sub nodes, while on one side, you might only have a handful. Completeness is also very unlikely because these trees can get very unbalanced and very lopsided. So here's a quick example I found from a virology journal. They were tracking cases of a disease, and each leaf talks about a case, a specific case of a virus that they were tracking. And as you can see, they're kind of grouped together, yet each parent has a very strange amount of nodes. Some of these parents have several, only some of these have two. And that kind of shows that rose trees can be grouped even though they are very large and very variable. So I'm going to talk really quickly about bee trees. Bee trees are similar to rose trees in that they have variable amounts of children. Although bee trees, their definition is their nodes have two or more children. And bee trees are used to keep data structured while also having a lot of it. Bee trees, I kind of equated them to rose trees in complexity. I wrote theoretical because with rose trees, any data structure that falls within an arbitrary amount of nodes can be a rose tree. So I wrote theoretical because this is actually bee trees complexity, and bee trees are the closest to rose trees. So as you can see, for accessing nodes, searching nodes, inserting nodes, and deleting nodes, the average time complexity was big theta log n, and the worst was big O log n. So as you can see, it's fairly consistent. Although when you move to rose trees, you should assume that it would not be consistent. Although if you want to keep your data organized, consistency is a pretty good thing. So there are many variations of rose trees, pretty much because the definition is so abstract. Any tree with an arbitrary amount of children per parent can be considered a rose tree. Potentially infinite combinations, making algorithm creation a case-by-case problem. It really depends on how you're working with it and how you define your bounds of your rose tree, how your complexity is and how it works well. So there are many implementations either, but there's an official implementation in the programming language Haskell. They have functions such as fold tree and unfold tree, which convert the tree's nodes into an array and then unconvert them, turn them back into a tree, and then draw tree, which gives you a visual representation, which is very useful when you're dealing with a lot of data. It's good to see visual representation. And this language is very function heavy and logic oriented. It's used for applications in logic, using big data, working with a lot of very technical data. So rose trees can group a lot of data together, but can also get very wild, such as dealing with large amounts of data. And that is all. If you have any questions, please comment them below and I'll answer them as soon as possible. Thank you and stay healthy.